Hey, got a question for you. Do you know you have unlimited potential? That's something that I wish I knew as a young boy. In fact, we're in chapter 3 of my book, Fatherless, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. How I wish I knew I had unlimited potential and how I discovered it. So do me a favor, check this video out. Hey, and welcome to Keith's Motivational Minute, where I myself, Keith Collins, get to hang out with you, the guy that's on the other side of this video. And today I just basically wanted to go over chapter 3 in my book, Fatherless. Boom, boom, boom. What I wish I knew as a boy, learning how to become a man in a fatherless culture. And I wanted to start it off with a quote. And this quote is by Ralph Waldo Emerson. And this is what he says in his quote. The only person you are destined to become is the person you decide to be. Now, I think about that. That means both you and I have to first consciously make a decision in our mind that we're going to become someone. And if we don't decide to become someone, we sometimes find ourselves following the path that everyone else follows. We find ourselves drifting. I don't know if you ever been on one of those floaties, but in the pool, when you're on a floaty, you just drift, and you don't necessarily go to a location that you want. You're just lazy about just floating. But when you have an anchor, when you have a motor, that you can steer, you can then go somewhere. And for me, I put in this chapter 3 that I wish I knew I had unlimited potential, because it was something that I had to eventually discover. I remember where now that I sit back and I reflect, and as I wrote the book, I sit back and I reflected, and I thought about my middle school, high school, college, and now, and my discovering of potential. When I was in middle school, I played football, and I was a little chunky guy. I played center. I remember being a part of an undefeated team. Our goal was to win. Our goal was to actually do something and accomplish something. And I remember getting ready for the basketball season, because the coach that coached our football team, he also coached our basketball team. And I remember going to him and saying, "Coach, I'm going to come try out." He said, "Keith, man, don't you try out." I was like, "Nah, coach, it's me. It's Keith. You like me. We good people." And I remember him telling me, "Son, if you come out, I'm going to cut you. I'm going to cut you from the team." And I was like, "Man, get out of here. Coach, you just playing. You like me." And I went out and I got cut from the team. I'll say that again. I got cut from the team. And then as I got cut from the team, there was another gentleman. He was playing on the football team. He really didn't get a bunch of playing time or any playing time. I think we were up when he finally got a chance to get in. And I witnessed him try out with basketball with me as well. And he got cut just like I did. And coach said, "Hey, you guys got cut. You can come around again, practice again, and we'll be doing more cuts. So if you still want to continue to pursue basketball, come on out." And I did that for a little bit, like a week or so. And then I eventually gave it up, because I was like, it's time for me to just kind of, just give it up. And so that's what I did. But I watched this young man continuously to practice. Continuously to go out and run when the team was practicing and get better. And next thing I know, he ended up making the basketball team and getting inside of the game. As I look back and reflect, I think that was a moment where I had to learn, now looking at that, I missed out on my unlimited potential, because I thought that the failure or the not achieving the goal was the end for me. That there was more inside of me that I didn't even know about. Fast forward, I get to high school, and in high school, I missed 2 years of wrestling. I played baseball, I played a little football in high school, like my first 2 years, but it wasn't until my junior year that I stepped into wrestling. And I only stepped into wrestling because at first, my first 2 years, I didn't deem it to be culturally acceptable to be a black guy in tights. Like, I wasn't feeling that. Like, I never saw anyone do that in my neighborhood or in my culture. So I was like, I'm not going to be doing that. And I missed out on 2 years of wrestling. My first year, I did okay. My second year, I began to be one of the captains. And I was one win away from going to our state tournament. And I sit back and I think about it, I'm like, wow, that's crazy because I missed out on 2 years. Imagine if I would have taken those 2 years and developed my craft and not worry what other people think, or this prison that I had in my mind that it was unacceptable for me to step out. And I could have probably win state and probably won. And now when I went to college, I stepped in and I ran across a teacher, and the teacher looked at me and he said, man, you got more inside of you. He spoke to a seed that was laying dormant, that was sitting inside of me. He said, you have more inside of you than you originally think. Now, my college experience was just me trying to get out. Literally, since I got into college, I was trying to get out of college. Because for me, in my head, all I had to do is just get out. And once I got out, I knew that everything else would follow. I could make the money that I wanted. I could achieve the dreams and all of those things if I just got out of college. And this teacher, he pulled out of me just greatness. He pulled out of me that I had more inside of me, that led me to discover that led me to figure out how to cultivate this seed that he told me that I had inside of me. And when I think about seed and when I think about potential, it's a seed has inside of it, I think of an apple seed. An apple seed has inside of it a whole entire apple orchard. Let me say that again. One apple seed has an entire apple orchard inside of it. And that's the same thing for both you and I. That we have this whole entire apple orchard that lies inside of us, but it takes us to plant ourselves. It takes us to get around people that will cultivate us and see that we have more inside of us, that will pour into us. And I remember this teacher pouring into me. The first year I had this teacher, he would talk to me, challenge me in class. The next year I was able to be his liaison inside of his classroom, and we would then go to lunch together for a whole entire semester, and I would learn and gain knowledge from that teacher. And that teacher has helped me to build my confidence. And he's actually one of the guys that wrote the foreword for the book. And I believe that it's so important to be able to understand that we have unlimited potential, because now as an adult male, I understand that I have unlimited amounts of potential. That there is more inside of me today than there was yesterday. And tomorrow I will even be better because I realize that I have unlimited potential. But we live in a world that teaches us that our past can only dictate our future. Well, that's absolutely incorrect and not true. Both you and I have never experienced this day before. And because we haven't experienced this day before, we then get to create something new. And I just challenge you on the other side of this camera to create something new today. To understand that you have unlimited potential. And the cool thing I like about the book is that at the end of each chapter, I give yourselves questions. I give you questions that you can take inside of a group setting, inside of a one-on-one setting, or just by yourself. So, I want you to pick this book up because it is amazing and it's going to change your life, and I truly believe that. But I want you to know that you have unlimited potential. And I would go over the questions inside of this book, but I can't because I want you to pick up the book. So with that being said, thank you so much for hanging out with me today. Like this video, share this video, subscribe, and I'll tell you what, I will see you on the next video. See ya.